Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night to all my vegans, veganettes, and not so vegans across the globe. It's your girl Abeje TheAtre, and welcome back to another episode of Cause It's Vegan. I gotta eat it. There's no way I could ever go vegan. I'm not about to spend the rest of my life eating rabbit food. So guess what, you guys? I went to the farmer's market and to Whole Foods this past Monday. And while I was at this Whole Foods, I decided I wanted to get one thing in particular: spicy chips. I specifically went to a Whole Foods 365, so we know that those are actually smaller than just a regular Whole Foods store. So I did not find a lot of spicy chips, but I found enough. Alright, so as you guys can see, I've got 4 different brands of chips. Now, these 3 came from the chip aisle, and this was right at the checkout. So the first chip we have, Late July Snacks. Their new vegetable tortilla chips, Beat the Heat red pepper with chia and chipotle. Then we have SIETE. Their grain-free tortilla chips, and their brand is called FUEGO. On to Beanfields, their jalapeno nacho. And lastly, Kraft LowCountry Kettle, and this is their Carolina Reaper. And of course, even though it was in a previous video and it's not really the star of the show, we can't forget about the Kettle brand jalapeno chips. Oh, I cut it so that I wouldn't have to reach as far in the bag. So of course, before I start eating any of these chips, I will read a little bit of the descriptions that are placed on them. So let's start with Beanfields jalapeno nacho. It does have 4 grams of protein and fiber per serving. It is also gluten-free. There are 130 calories per serving. It's non-GMO. And again, as they put, always vegan. Alright, so really quickly, I just want to read off a couple of the ingredients here. Black beans, navy beans, brown rice, jalapeno pepper, tomato powder, so on and so forth. So let's go ahead and give this jalapeno nacho a test. I don't like the smell. Smell it. You smell that? So this is what the chip looks like. The chips themselves are not bad, but I don't really taste jalapeno. It's so small, it's almost not noticeable. But otherwise, I really taste more nacho than jalapeno. And even that, you have to chew the chip a couple of times before the flavor really sets in your mouth. Yeah, this chip is a little disappointing in all factors. The flavors aren't that exciting either. On to the next one. Also, I do want to say, of course, I am grading these chips based on their spice level, but I am still judging them on their flavor. Late July Snacks, their new vegetable tortilla chips. Beat the Heat red pepper with chia and chipotle. It's vegan, gluten-free, non-GMO, kosher, there are no artificial flavors, and there are no colors or preservatives. With this, you have 140 calories per serving. Let's go ahead and get into this whole grain chip. So this is what their chip looks like. It looks like a regular old Dorito or something like that. Now, let's see if I'll beat the heat. Interesting. This is like, well, tortilla chip isn't the title, but that's really all it tastes like. This is a great tortilla chip, but there is no heat. Now, it said that there were red pepper flakes. I don't taste an ounce of it at all. So I'm kind of wondering why it says beat the heat, because there's literally nothing to beat at all. I do taste the chipotle in here. It has that hint of sweetness, but other than that, there's no heat at all. So I'm kind of really let down, and ultimately there is no flavor. I wouldn't waste my money. I think I paid almost $4 for this tortilla chip that was supposed to be spicy. I'd just get regular tortilla chips instead of this. Let's just move to the next. Okay. Kraft LowCountry Kettle Carolina Reaper chip. Couple pieces of information. It's hot. It is gluten-free. There are no artificial ingredients, and of course, there are no MSGs. Going over the serving size, of course, this is one serving. It is 290 calories. A couple of the ingredients: sea salt, red bell pepper powder, apple cider vinegar, onion powder, tomato powder, citric acid, garlic, sugar, honey, cayenne. The last ingredient is California Reaper pepper powder. So this is supposed to be hot, but the hottest ingredients are literally the last ingredient. So, oh, I can smell it. Oh, that smells really good. It looks like this. Nice, good old potato chip, for real, for real. Let's go ahead and give it a try. Oh yeah, this is really good. And you know what? Hearing that there's apple cider vinegar powder in here, it was a little weird, but I taste it and boy, it's a great combination with the rest of these flavors. For me, this chip isn't super spicy, which does kind of suck because it said California Reaper and I know that's a really hot pepper, but I still get more spice than I got from the other chips. Okay, I gotta stop eating. So the flavors in this are really good. Why? I mean, it's good. This should not be allowed. Like I said, you can taste the apple cider vinegar with all the other flavors like the onion powder, the garlic. You even taste some sweetness from the sugar, and of course you do get a kick. Even though it's not the hottest thing in the world, for some people it might actually be kind of hot. So I definitely have to put this in first place from the other three chips that I tried. Next chip is gonna be SIETE, the grain-free tortilla chip called FUEGO. Now, I'm sure as you guys can see, it was made with 100% avocado oil. This chip is gluten-free, dairy-free, grain-free, soy-free, vegan, and paleo. So with this bag of chips, you get 130 calories per serving. There is some cassava flour, red chili powder, nutritional yeast, coconut milk powder, beet powder, sea salt, tomato powder, jalapeno powder, citric acid, habanero powder. So this has got a lot of good stuff inside of it. I'm really excited. Oh, just look inside of the bag. It looks like it'll be hot, doesn't it? Let me give you a close-up. I hope they are, because it says FUEGO. If this is not FUEGO, I'm gonna be enojada. Okay, look at that. You see that red? I hope that is the habanero powder or the red chili powder. I'm really hoping it's that and not the beet or tomato powder. So let's try it. Okay. These are very light. Well, this is interesting because this chip tastes like it wants to be this chip, except this chip is crunchier like a potato and this one is very light and fluffy. There's no FUEGO. It does taste good. I definitely can taste some like sour flavors within this, but it's not hot. Is it really that hard to make a hot vegan chip? And then I'm mad because it look at that. You can't deceive me with this color, hold on, with all this red, only for it to not be hot. Needless to say, I'm disappointed. Last but not least, we're gonna go ahead and try the Kettle brand jalapeno chips that also say hot. I've had these before, I've tried them before, but for camera's sake, I'm trying them again just to compare them with the rest all at once. I would give you all the facts about it, but like I said, I cut the bag, so I can't really tell you everything. The only thing I can tell you is that it's made out of potatoes, safflower and or sunflower and or canola oil, salt, sugar, onion powder, garlic powder, jalapeno powder, and parsley flakes. Let's try it. It's so weird because I do like this chip, but now that I'm trying it amongst the rest of them, the flavor isn't as good. Also, I had already said before that I don't think these chips are hot, so you taste a hint of sugar, but I really don't get anything else other than like some salt. It's not hot. So, okay, so let's go ahead and do a quick recap of all of the chips. I've already placed them in the order of best to worst. So we're gonna start with last place this time. In last place is going to be Late July Smacks. I think it's a solid tortilla chip, but there was absolutely no heat to beat. And if you ask me, you can just get some regular tortilla chips. The next chip that we have that's gonna be in fourth place, this bad baby right here. This is the Kettle brand jalapeno chip. It's not hot and the flavors compared to the other chips aren't necessarily that great. So in third place, I'm gonna have the Beanfields jalapeno nacho. This was a chip here that was not really hot, but I did taste just a tiny kick. And then after chewing it for a second, you did get that nacho flavor. It just wasn't that potent in any area at all. Moving to second place, SIETE. Although I was very disappointed that there was absolutely no FUEGO whatsoever, the flavor of this chip I think was still good enough to make up for that lack. In first place, also kind of sad because it's the smallest bag out of all of these, Kraft's LowCountry Kettle potato chips. It was so delicious, like the flavors were just so great, and that apple cider vinegar I feel like really elevated this chip to a degree that I never really would have thought apple cider vinegar would do. But also there was more kick. As far as heat is concerned from the rest of the chips, this definitely takes the cake. So ultimately, out of all the chips today, the only one I really would recommend you get is this one. If you're looking for a flavorful chip that has a little bit of heat to it at Whole Foods, this is your guy. But I'm gonna keep looking because there has to be a hot, spicy vegan chip out there. I just know there is. Has to be. Nevertheless, you all have a wonderful day. Please go out, encourage someone, encourage yourself, and remember to love peaches and all the sneeches.